Broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hey, this is Daniel Vitalis from SirThrival.com, and you're listening to Justin and Kate on Extreme Health Radio. And I'm just here to remind you to rewild yourself.
Wake up your immune system to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Visit CARNIVORA.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY today.
Everybody for joining us on another episode of Extreme Health Radio. We're having a little bit of a sound issue here. We had to change mics for Kate. We're sitting on the other side of the desk.
You couldn't shut me up, though, could you? You tried and you couldn't.
That's right.
I busted through.
That's right. Thank God for this other microphone.
I know, right?
So I want to thank all you guys for joining us on the episode today. Let's see, what episode is this? 282?
I don't think I can hear you out of my ears.
Is that? We'll have to fix that.
Okay.
282.
Yep.
We'll fix that during the break.
Okay.
Put that on the to-do list.
Right.
282. And this is ExtremeHealthRadio.com, and we broadcast live 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys would like to join the chat room and be in the show and listen to the show and communicate with all the other people, you can do that at ExtremeHealthRadio.com/live. And we can have a lot of fun in the chat room. And if you guys would like to support our show, please don't forget to check out Carnivora, if you like, our sponsor for today's show. And also you can go to Amazon through our link, ExtremeHealthRadio.com/Amazon, and that would help to support our show and keep everything free for everyone who wants to listen and get this kind of cutting-edge information. And today we're going to be talking with Raymond Francis. This is going to be a really fun show. We're going to be talking about anti-aging and his book, so it's just going to be really, really a good time. This is episode 282, and for reference, this is Wednesday. Is that right?
Thursday.
Today's Thursday? Oh my gosh, I thought it was Tuesday for a second.
Oh, you're funny.
Oh my gosh. Raymond Francis is, he's from BeyondHealth.com. He's an MIT-trained scientist, internationally recognized leader in health, and he's the author of Never Feel Old Again, Never Fear Cancer Again, Never Be Sick Again, Never Be Fat Again.
Wow.
He's just a prolific guy doing some really, really great work. And we're going to be talking about anti-aging from his book, Never Feel Old Again. So we're really excited to have Raymond Francis on the show. Thank you so much, Raymond, for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be with you both.
So you were saying before the show you're in sunny, actually today is not sunny, you're in stormy Florida these days.
Stormy Florida, indeed, yes.
Yeah, so you said
it's a very, very big thunderstorm at the moment.
Yeah, you get a lot of thunderstorms this time of year, don't you?
Yes, that the summer is the rainy season. Unlike California, where the summer is dry, the summer here is the rainy season.
Wow. And so you're the man behind BeyondHealth.com. How long ago did you start that website?
1994.
It's been a while.
So we did business for a while, and I started it as a necessity, really, and because I took very sick, and I almost died, and I had to use my own knowledge of biochemistry to save my life, and I knew that I needed vitamin supplements in order to help myself to get well. Mm-hmm. And when I took vitamin supplements, they didn't help me. In fact, they made me even worse. So I started, as a chemist, started looking at why that was so, and then I found out that most vitamins really weren't very good. So I designed my own, and I started selling them back in 1994, and So I sell very, very high quality, high-end vitamins that actually work and do what they're supposed to do.
Raymond, what was it about the vitamins you were taking that, what do you think was going on?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question. Could you speak louder?
Go ahead, Jay.
Raymond, yeah, my wife was just wanting to find out what was it about the vitamins that you think weren't working at the time?
Well, the vitamins basically don't work, and here's why. Most of them are made out of components that are not biologically active in the body. The body needs very specific molecules, and a vitamin comes in many different forms. And of those different forms, there's usually only one or two that are really the biologically active forms. But those are usually the most expensive. So the vitamin manufacturers don't put them in the pill. So they put stuff in the pill that is not really biologically active in the body. So you get very little benefit from it. And then the minerals. For example, a very, very common source of calcium in a vitamin would be calcium carbonate. A very common form of magnesium would be magnesium oxide. Both of those have very low biological activity in the body. But they're cheap, so that's why they use them. So they may be 10% bioavailable. So if it says, you're going to get 100 milligrams of calcium, no. You're only getting 10 milligrams of calcium because of its low biological activity. Whereas when you compound a good vitamin, such as I do, you use forms of calcium and magnesium, such as ascorbates and malates and glycinates and others that are highly biologically active in the body. So you get the full benefit. If it says 100 milligrams, you're going to get 100 milligrams.
And then you also have the issue with other people, or I guess with a lot of people, where even if, let's say there's 100 milligrams of vitamin C and you said they're only getting 10 because of the bioavailability, but then also aren't people's guts and their stomachs, intestines unable to absorb a lot of nutrients these days because of the fact that they're clogged up and things?
Most people in our society have guts that are not normal. There's a lot of reasons for this. The major reason is that we have all taken an antibiotic. And once you take an antibiotic, even once in your lifetime, your gut will be messed up for the rest of your life. And the more times you take an antibiotic, the worse it gets.
So one time in your life, that can affect your entire life.
Well, because you see the bugs in your tummy. In fact, there are more bugs in your tummy than there are human cells in your body. These bacteria are smaller than human cells. But there are more bugs in your tummy than there are human cells in your body. And these bacteria actually function like an organ in the body. They function like your heart or your liver or your lungs. They function like an organ in the body. And they do a myriad of tasks. They detoxify toxins. They produce fatty acids that the cells in the gut need, use as food to keep them healthy and well fed. They help to in the absorption of nutrients. They help to digest food. They do a myriad of functions. And as it turns out, the bugs in your tummy, we all have common bugs, lactobacilli and bifidobacter, things like that. But as it turns out, the combination of bugs in your tummy is unique to you. And as unique as a fingerprint.
Really?
Yes, as unique as a fingerprint. So we all have common bugs, but the combination of the bugs is unique to you. Now, we all have unique biochemistry. It's called, biochemical individuality. There's no two people on the planet whose biochemistry is exactly the same.
Wow.
We all have different needs for nutrients. I mean, you and I could live in the same house. We could eat the same diet. I could be healthy. You could be sick because I'm getting what I need because of my genetic needs. You're not getting what you need. Your need for calcium might be 10 times mine. So I might be getting enough calcium and you won't. So we are all biochemically unique, and the unique bugs help to support your unique chemistry. Once you take an antibiotic, you disturb those bugs, and you can never again reconstitute the uniqueness.
Yeah, we've heard that, Raymond, that once you take one round of antibiotics, and most people do that these days when they're just children, but we've heard that where you take this for the antibiotics one time, and even if you get the same amount of bugs back, there's no way to reconstitute, like you said, the uniqueness. Exactly. There's no way to reconstitute that. Now, I've known that for 30 years. But now we're doing research on it using genetic techniques. So we used to be able to measure the bugs and we say, oh, you've got lactobacilli. But now we can measure the genes of those lactobacilli and find that there are different ones and different kinds and different combinations in different people. So we now know that the bugs in your tummy are unique to you. That is fascinating.
And once you blow them away with an antibiotic, you can no longer ever again reconstitute that uniqueness. And that again is what we're finding in the research. You can no longer again reconstitute. So where there was once strength, there's now going to be lasting weakness.
So is it possible for people like you and I, and for our listeners, for people like that, if they're really tuned into health, is it possible for us to reconstitute that, or are you saying it's impossible for basically anybody?
So far as we know, it is not possible to reconstitute the uniqueness, but what you've got to do is really work at doing the best that you can, because if you don't, you end up with a gut that is badly disturbed and will be malabsorbing nutrients, and you will be maldigesting your food. So everybody needs, and the best way to do it is to eat a high fiber diet. I make a fiber product, and I even take that fiber product a couple of times a day. And I also make some very high quality probiotics, and I take those every day. So I try to, if you do this, if you eat a high fiber diet and take probiotics every day, you can compensate for the problem. You can never solve the problem completely, but you can compensate to where you can do pretty darn well. But if you don't do that, look at antacids. I mean, they sell, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars worth of antacids every year. This is a sign of a disordered digestive system. And people are taking all kinds of digestive aids because their digestive system is so screwed up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do we know that if other medications, because a lot of times people get hooked on to the antibiotics, but do we know if any other standard medications, because most of the population is on these things, do they affect?
Absolutely. Yep. Birth control pills are one example.
Wow.
Yeah, birth control pills really screw up your gut. But most pharmaceuticals will screw up your gut. I mean, they're toxins, and they're toxic to the body. It's crazy to take them, but we have a whole system of medicine based on taking toxic chemicals. I mean, is that crazy or what?
I know, right? Even things, I would imagine, even things like Tylenol and Advil and these types of, even these things you can buy at the pharmacy, I would imagine they're just as damaging as well.
Yes, they are. They're toxic as well. So it's a shame. Well, the result is our population is aging rapidly. We all age, Everything ages. The universe is aging. You know, our planet is aging. The sun is aging. The sun's going to burn out someday. It's aging. You know, we all age, but the rate at which you age is under your control. You can age slowly and gracefully and live a very, very long life filled with vitality and good health, or you can age rapidly and die at a younger age and suffer from all kinds of chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's and osteoporosis and arthritis, and none of this is necessary. You know, what we normally think of as aging, you know, think of what is aging. We think of it as it's a loss of function. Mm-hmm. It's disability. You know, sometimes ending up where others have to care for you because you can't care for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's the so-called diseases of aging, such as the Alzheimer's and the osteoporosis and the arthritis and the cancer. None of these have to happen. You don't have to lose function. You don't have to become disabled. You don't have to have any of the so-called diseases of aging if you learn how to maintain your body properly.
And so in your book, Never Feel Old Again, do you talk about the bacteria connection in the gut as we age?
The bacteria connection in the gut is very important, but there are also numerous other factors. And that is, you know, here's the secret. I mean, if you want to know how not to age, here's the secret. The human body is a self-repairing system. All biological systems are self-repairing. They couldn't survive without the ability to self-repair. And so what aging is a lack of repair. So let's think about, you know, you drive your car, you wear out the tires, you wear out the brakes, you wear out the fan belts, you're wearing out your car. Unless you replace those parts, eventually the car is going to stop. Mm-hmm. So a car that is not well maintained is going to end up in a junkyard. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing for your body. If you don't maintain the body, then you're going to end up in a human junkyard, which we call a nursing home. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to end up there. Nobody wants to be in a position where others have to care for your daily fundamental needs. We all want to be fully functional. And the only way to be fully functional is to keep your car in good repair, do the maintenance. Keep your body in good repair, do the maintenance. The problem is the car comes with a maintenance manual, and it says, you know, change the oil every 3,000 miles, you know, and, you know, check on this, check on that, check on the timing belt, you know, replace the oil in the transmission, you know. The car comes with a maintenance manual. We don't.
Right.
We don't. So the average person knows more about how to maintain their car than about how to maintain their body.
I guess our maintenance would be maybe perhaps our feelings, maybe how we feel, how we feel about our health, how our gut feels. Maybe that's, you know, warning signs and signals like that. But
well, you know, we fall apart for the same. Let's say, you know, you have a house and you have a fire in the house. The firemen come, they put out the fire, but now you got to repair that part of the house. Uh-huh. So what do you need? You need 2x6s, and you need 2x4s, and you need plywood, and you need drywall, and you need nails, and you need screws, and you need wiring, and maybe you need some plumbing. You know, you need all this stuff in order to repair. Well, your cells have the same problem. You see, fire is what we call rapid oxidation. Mm-hmm. Cells are damaged every day by oxidative processes. It's slow oxidation, mm-hmm. but it's the same process as fire. So every day you're burning down your cells, just like it burned down your house. Mm-hmm. You have to repair them. And what does it take to repair the cells? The same thing as it takes to repair the house. You need all of these materials.
And so this is what you talk about in Never Feel Old Again.
Yes. It's how to keep yourself in good repair.
I love
so, because aging is repair deficits. If you drive the car and you don't repair it, you have a repair deficit, and eventually you'll have enough repair deficits where the car stops. The same thing with your body. If you don't, when you go to bed at night, see the car, you park the car in the garage overnight, nothing happens. You park you in the garage overnight, and you repair the wear and tear that you put on your body during the day. So you wake up in the morning and you're as good as new. The problem is we're not doing that. We're not giving ourselves the repair materials that we need, and we're being exposed to toxins that shut down the repair machinery. So the result is we wake up in the morning with a repair deficit. And then tomorrow we wake up with another repair deficit, and the same thing the day after. And pretty soon you've got enough repair deficits where you're dragging. Pretty soon you go to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, you need a hip replacement, or you need a knee replacement. No, you don't. You wore it out because you didn't repair it. And now the doctor wants to replace it surgically. This is crazy.
It's crazy.
Keep it in good repair. Nobody needs a hip replacement. Nobody. Unless you've been in an accident, you don't need a hip replacement. It's built to last for a lifetime if you keep it in good repair. The problem is we're not doing that because we eat diets. The average American diet will not support healthy life even in rats. Wow.
That's
that's why we need hip replacements.
Yeah, that's why we need that.
Your diet will not even support healthy life in rats. How is it going to keep you in good repair?
It can't.
So you got to wake up and start eating better diets. But then part of it is that even if you have all the repair materials, if you don't have the machinery, to build the house, you need a saw. You need a little power saw, you need a nail gun, you need some tools. Well, you need tools, machinery to do the repairs in your cells. If you shut that machinery down with toxins, such as heavy metals like mercury and lead, or even prescription drugs, if you shut down that repair machinery, guess what? The repairs don't get made, even if you have all the repair materials. So you got to do two things. You got to supply your body with all the repair materials it needs, and you have to keep the repair machinery functioning normally. If you do this, when you go to bed at night, every night you will repair the wear and tear that you put on your body during the day. And the result will be that you will age very slowly, and you will be vital and filled with energy and good health for well over 100 years. Well over 100 years.
I love it. Well, we have to take a little bit of a break right now, but this is going to be good. I want to talk when we get back from the break about how to do some of these things. That would be a lot of fun. How to prevent the aging process and slow that down, because it's my contention that it should be something that we do every day, every single day. So this is episode 282, and we broadcast live 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today we're with Raymond Francis from BeyondHealth.com, and you can check out his books there, and we'll be right back right after this break. I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and fly the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser.
Real people, real stories.
And he discovered Carnivora, was so thrilled with the product that he shared it with his family and his friends and his patients. My dad was a family physician who was a medical doctor.
Almost all the symptoms were either diminished or gone. Amazing product, amazing results.
And found Carnivora. Something really wonderful was happening. I had to show my family. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
It's like an amazing thing having such a profound change in how I feel and knowing that it was the Carnivora that did it.
Hello, folks. Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International here. Wake up your immune system and that of your loved ones to protect yourselves against harmful invaders. Used successfully by President Reagan in 1985 when he had it sent to the White House. Visit carnivora.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com or dial 1-866-VENUS-FLY and start protecting yourself today.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
All right, we're having a great time here with Raymond Francis from BeyondHealth.com. This is episode 282. We're talking about his book, Never Feel Old Again, and just a really great time. And Kate, I'm curious, can anybody hear Kate?
I'm talking, testing, 1, 2.
I can hear you out of my microphone. I'm curious if any of our chat room people can.
Write in if you can. I'm just very curious.
Yes, it shows you're showing up on the show, so we'll see if we can fix this. But today we're with Raymond Francis, episode 282, BeyondHealth.com. If you're interested in checking out his website, we'd highly recommend doing that. And if you guys have any questions about that Carnivora or the laser, please let me know. I'd love to help you out in any way possible. And there's good stuff there. And so, Raymond, before the break, we were talking about some of the things that people do. You're kind of giving the comparison to the car. And what are some things, I guess before we get into what are some things people can do to prevent this aging process, perhaps on a daily basis, what can people do? What are some things that they should avoid, I should say, on a daily basis? I imagine stress in today's world would be high on the list, wouldn't it?
Well, stress is very high on the list, and we live in a stressful world. So, what you need to do, and what I do, is I do daily meditation. I don't do it every day. Sometimes I have to get up early, but almost every day I do meditation, and this helps to keep my stress levels down. And also, a very long time ago, many years ago, I learned to try to not put stress on myself. For example, I used to live in the San Francisco area, and you'd be driving into a meeting in the city, and there'd be a traffic jam on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you'd be stuck in the traffic jam. And you got a 2:00 appointment, you're stuck in the traffic jam. And so you're saying, oh, I'm going to be late, and your stress levels are going up and going up and going up. By the time you get to the end of the bridge, you're frazzled with stress. And I've learned to catch myself with that and say, now, wait a minute. If I put stress on myself, will I get to the meeting any faster? And the answer is no. But if I put stress on myself, I'm going to make myself sick. So don't put stress on myself. So now I turn that around, and if I'm in a traffic jam, I do some deep breathing, and I actually do relaxation exercises. So I've turned it completely around from a stressful experience to a relaxing experience. And there are many things that we do in our daily lives. You know, somebody leaves the cap off the toothpaste. We get stressed over it, you know. They're just things that you have to stop yourself and say, wait a minute, it isn't worth getting stressed over this because it's not going to change anything, and all it's going to do is harm. And then there are people that live in the past. I once had a lady come to me with a number of problems, including cancer. And she had had a very nasty divorce 20 years prior to being diagnosed with the cancer. And every day for those 20 years, she relived that divorce in her mind. She ran that movie over and over again in her mind every single day for 20 years. So every day she put that same stress on herself over and over and over again. Well, she finally got cancer. It isn't worth it. It's crazy. So you have to, catch yourself and say, there are times when putting stress on you is valuable. There's other times when it's absolutely crazy to do it. So we live in a stressful world. We have to learn how to adapt to the stressful world we live in. Very importantly, of course, is the raw materials to make sure, that you have all the plywood and the 2x4s and the nails and the screws to keep your cells in good repair. And that's you've got to eat a better diet. You can no longer afford to eat the poisons. I call them the bad four or the big four, and that's sugar. You got to get the sugar out of your life. I mean, sugar is a deadly metabolic poison. Mm-hmm. I wish we had a big blackboard now, and I could show all of your listeners what happens if you eat 1 teaspoon of sugar. If you truly understood this, you'd be so frightened. You wouldn't want to be in the same room with something that dangerous.
You mean if you could see on a cellular level what happens?
Yes, what happens at the cellular level. It's devastating. It throws health is when all of your biochemistry is working normally and smoothly. That's what health is. When you eat sugar, you throw all of your biochemistry into chaos for about 6 to 8 hours. So if you eat sugar morning, noon, and evening, your body is going to be in biochemical chaos 24 hours a day. How can you expect to be healthy? It's a deadly, deadly metabolic poison. It shouldn't be allowed on the market, should be taken off the market, but of course that's not going to happen. The next is wheat. Wheat is also a deadly metabolic poison. The average person eats over 200 pounds of wheat per year. And we eat, the average person, 160 pounds of sugar per year. So just between those two, you have 360 pounds of poison that the average person is eating on a yearly basis. How can you expect to be healthy? You can't.
A pound a day, wouldn't it?
Then the processed oils. What is a processed oil? All the oils you buy at the supermarket, those are processed oils. Mm-hmm. They're going to make you sick. Your car needs oil, but if you put the wrong oil in the engine of your car, you can ruin the engine. You need oil. If you put the wrong oil in your engine, you're going to ruin your engine, and that's what we do. All the supermarket oils are the wrong oils, and what we're doing is making ourselves sick by consuming them. Your biology is very specific. It needs very, very specific oils, and you must supply these oils or you're not going to be healthy. Mm-hmm. We don't supply them. More than 90% of the American population is deficient in the proper omega-3 fatty acids. More than 90%. So, we need to correct these deficiencies. These are fundamental building blocks. A cell membrane is mostly made out of oil, but it has to be made out of the correct oil or it won't work right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last of the is dairy, milk and milk products. Again, a deadly poison, not a food. But we've all been snookered into believing that milk does a body good. Well, it doesn't, and that's a hard one for people because they've been so educated that milk is good for you, and when you tell them it's not, they're incredulous.
Well, they've made it taste so good, haven't they, with the cheeses and the yogurts and all that? That's the problem.
Exactly. Doesn't it taste so good? And it does you harm.
Yeah.
And it destroys your bones and ruins your health. And ice cream. Ice cream is probably the single largest cause of prostate cancer. I mean, people come to me with prostate cancer. The first question I ask is, do you eat a lot of ice cream? And you'd be about 80% of the time the answer is, oh, I love ice cream. It's a deadly poison.
Wow.
And we feed this to children, and we feed this stuff to children, and so the children are all sick. We have the sickest children in American history, and the children are all old. We have the oldest children in American history. A couple of years ago, we did a study of overweight 10-year-olds. They had the biological markers of 45-year-olds.
Overweight 10 years old.
Yeah, they're 10 years old, and so if you're 45 years old when you're 10, what are you going to be when you're 50? And the answer is probably dead, and we're now predicting that this is the first generation of American children that is going to die younger than their parents.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's pretty shocking.
Pretty shocking. We're measuring 30-year-olds with the biological markers of 80. So if you're 80 years old when you're 30, what are you going to be when you're, this is crazy. And this is what we're doing because of our poor diets and the toxins we're being exposed to. And that, again, is one of the great secrets. You see, the body is a self-repairing system. If you shift the body back into repair mode, you can actually do repairs that have been deferred and become biologically younger. See, there's a big difference between your chronological age and your biological age. Mm-hmm. You can go to a car show and see a car that's 100 years old, that looks new and runs like new. So here, the chronological age is over 100 years old, but the biological age is like brand new. That's what you need to do with your body. Now, here we are measuring 10-year-olds who are chronologically 10, but biologically 45.
You know, Raymond, the other day I saw a shocking video online. I shared this on our last show, but I saw a shocking video about this young girl who was, I think she was 5 years old, and she had, I don't know how they calculated this or how they knew this, but they had calculated that she had already drank around 1,500 Pepsis in her life at 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, this is what we're doing, and that's one reason why you have to eat organically grown foods. Mm-hmm. Now, you live in California, God bless, because in California you can actually get a lot of high-quality food. Mm-hmm. I used to live in Marin County, and in my town we had a farmer's market twice a week, and the farmers would come and bring freshly harvested organic produce twice a week. Here in Florida, where I live now, there isn't any. It's almost impossible to get real food in Florida. And Florida has high rates of chronic disease. And I used to think, there's a lot of retired people in Florida. That's why they have high rates of chronic disease. No, the real reason is there's no food. Mm-hmm. And so all these older people just keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. But you can turn that around and become biologically younger. I almost died at age 48. So at age 48, my death was a medical certainty. And Lord knows what my biological age was probably 240 or something. But I almost died at age 48. I'm now going on age 78. and I feel like and function like I'm in my early 20s.
So did you start all of this process at 48?
Yes.
Isn't
Yes. And I measure my arteries every 5 years. We've now got my arteries down to about age 22. So chronologically, I'm going to be 78. Biologically, what I want to do is have the arteries of a teenager by the time I'm 80 years old. Now, cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death, heart attacks and strokes. My statistical probability of having a heart attack or a stroke is that of a 22-year-old, not an almost 78-year-old. That's where you want to be. You want to keep your biological age substantially younger than your chronological age. I'm never tired. I have boundless energy. Never tired. I never get sick. In the past 28 years, I've had 2 health problems. I had 2 colds. Now, if I meet a 28-year-old who's had 2 health problems in 28 years, pretty hard to do.
Pretty hard to do.
I've had 2 colds. I have very good excuses for each of those 2 colds, because having a cold is inexcusable, and it's crazy to have a cold because it's a very serious disease. You never recover from it. A cold produces a flood of free radicals. The free radicals do genetic damage, and the genetic damage ages you and makes you older. So every time you have a cold, you get older. You don't want to do that. You want to get younger, not older.
Wow, that's just fascinating.
People don't know this, and that's why we need to educate them. That's why I wrote Never Feel Old Again, because it's to teach people how to keep themselves in the repair mode, how to keep their body biologically younger than their chronological age. And if you do this, you never lose function, you never become disabled, you never develop the diseases of aging like Alzheimer's and osteoporosis and all the rest of them. It just doesn't happen because you are young and healthy. And so no matter what your chronological age, you want to be young and healthy. And if you do that, and in my books, I talk about Jose Roa. And Jose Roa was interviewed at age 131. And at age 131, he was in fabulous health. He was still working his farm, his hillside farm, on a daily basis. He had fathered his last child at age 107. And Jose was going pretty strong at age 131. But then they asked him if he'd ever been sick, and he said, yes, he had been sick. He had had several colds. Well, that's not several colds in 1 year. That's several colds in 131 years.
Oh, my goodness.
But when I read that, I thought, oh, my gosh, this guy's really sick, because healthy people don't get colds. So I figured, well, if he's that sick, he's not going to last long. And he didn't. He died at 137.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, this is fascinating stuff. We have to take a little bit of a break here, Raymond, but this is just so good. When we come back, I want to talk, if we can, more about the book and more about some of the things people can do, because we talked about, how people need to cut out sugar, wheat, dairy, stress, and those types of things. But I'd like to talk about perhaps maybe some of your thoughts about diet and what people can do in terms of supplementation and things like that. So we're with Raymond Francis from BeyondHealth.com, who's the author of Never Feel Old Again, Never Fear Cancer Again, How to Prevent and Reverse Cancer, Never Be Sick Again, and you can get all of these at BeyondHealth.com. And this is really good stuff. Kate, are you with me?
I'm trying. They told me to scream into the mic that I might be hearable.
Okay, that's great. All right, so this is episode, was it 282?
You got it.
All right, we'll be right back with Raymond Francis right after this break. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. So a few years ago, when I was working for this company, it was a really small company, and I had been wanting a Vitamix blender for years and years and years, but they're so expensive, and I just hadn't saved the money at that time to get one. And so as a Christmas bonus, they knew that I loved the Vitamix, so they got me a Vitamix, the 5000 blender. And that thing is so incredible. It was right at the beginning of my raw food journey, and I was using it about 3 times a day, really. Today, I still use it about twice a day to make blended smoothies and things like that. But the Vitamix blender is really, really great. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, that will redirect you over to there, and then you'll be able to purchase that, and we'll get a commission for your order. And you'll also get free shipping, too, so that'll be great for you if you're interested in saving about $25 on the shipping. And with the Vitamix, you can make sauces and dips and bread. You could make ice cream with it. I've done a lot of ice cream. You can just make the most incredible things. And it's my favorite because it's got a tamper on it. And you can put ice and frozen berries and avocado and some honey and things like that, and with no water at all. And you have that tamper, and you can make the most amazing ice creams with it. So the Vitamix is my favorite blender of choice, and if you're in the market to buy one, I would greatly encourage you to do so if you have the money for it. And if you do it through us, through extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, I'll get a little commission for it, and you'll get free shipping. So it works out for you and for us too. So if you're in the market, please do it through us. That'd be really cool. And you're going to love this thing when you get it. You're going to fall in love with it. You'll never go back to a regular blender again. So check that out, extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, and I hope you enjoy it.
All free shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
We're having a great time here with Raymond Francis, episode 282. And Kate, are you here?
I'm trying. I'm listening.
You're listening. You're in the chat room, but
I know.
I'm not sure. We're going to have to fix that microphone.
I'm enjoying every minute of it, though.
That's true. This is a really good show with Raymond Francis, episode 282. And like I said before, we broadcast 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. But next week, we are going to be on vacation, so we have a series of shows planned for you next week. We've got episode 284 with Jessica Ordner, and we have Natalie Thomas, who's going to be on talking about water, how to filter our water effectively. And Dr. Bruce Lipton will be on in a week from today on the 24th. So lots of great guests coming up on Extreme Health Radio. And if you guys would like to sign up to our newsletter, you can do that, and you can stay up to date with all that we have going on. So that's a great way to do that. And Raymond, before the break, or actually during the break, we had someone in our chat room, Jenny Fulmer, and she was talking about, she says, I would like to thank Raymond Francis for his book, Never Fear Cancer Again. After reading his book, my husband Mike stopped his cancer treatments and went alternative and was cancer-free in 3 months. Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Well, God bless. I wish they'd call my office. We'd love to talk to them. We love to have, it happens all the time. People with terminal cancer, they go out and buy my book, Never Fear Cancer Again, $14.95. They have terminal cancer. They go home, they cure the terminal cancer. Well, if you can buy a book for $14.95 and cure terminal cancer, it can't be that difficult.
Right.
But you do have to apply it. And I think the biggest part is not doing what you need to do. The biggest part is the mental leap. And even overcoming family objections. The family loves you. They don't want to lose you. And so they say, do what the doctor says. Do what the doctor says. You know, don't do anything else. And you get an enormous amount of family pressure in these things. But the people who are willing to make the break and to do what they need to do, it's miracle after miracle after miracle. I was just lecturing in a city just south of here a couple of weeks ago, and a man came up to me and he said that he had 26 lesions. He had melanoma. He had 26 rapidly growing lesions in his body. The doctors told him that nothing more could be done for him and to contact hospice. He bought the book. 3 months later, every lesion was gone.
My goodness.
And he's a very happy man. And you have to understand, the reason this is so simple is there is no such thing as cancer. There's no such thing as any disease. We're all made of these little microscopic units of life called cells. And every cell, if every cell is functioning normally, as it should, you cannot be sick. The only way you can be sick is when a large number of cells malfunction. Mm-hmm. Well, they malfunction because they're not getting what they need, or they're getting something that's screwing them up. So deficiency and toxicity are the two causes of all cellular malfunction. Well, depending on your unique combination of deficiency and toxicity and your unique genes, you're going to get a myriad of different symptoms. Unfortunately, our doctors then believe these symptoms are different diseases. Uh-huh. And they give them different names. In fact, there's over 12,000 different diseases, when in truth there's only one, and that's a cell that is malfunctioning. And cells malfunction for only two reasons. They're not getting what they need to function properly, or they're getting something that is interfering with the normal function. And once you understand that, it is so powerful. If somebody says you have terminal cancer, you say, oh, I'm going to die. If somebody says, oh, you have malfunctioning cells because of deficiency and toxicity, now you know what to do. Give the cells what they need. Stop giving them what they don't need. The cells will revert to normal, and whatever is wrong will disappear.
Now, what's a good diet, do you think, for people? Is there a diet that you could recommend in general, or does each person, like you said?
No, there's no one. I mean, Lord knows what Eskimos have, done well on their diet. People in the South Seas have done well on their diet. Their tribesmen in Africa have done, and they're all different diets. The common denominator is to eat things that are fresh and unprocessed. Mm-hmm. So fresh and unprocessed is a common denominator. And then again, if you look at all of these different diets that people have done well on, the one thing that is missing from every single one of those diets is sugar. Sugar is probably the common metabolic poison that goes right across the board that will kill anybody. So get the sugar out of your life. If you only do one thing, just one thing, get the sugar out of your life.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the sugar before. Is there a degree of toxicity with the sugar if you relate it to perhaps eating fruits? Are fruits damaging in any way?
Well, too much fruit can be. Too much fruit can be. There are fruitarians who eat enormous amounts of fruit. And look at Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer. He was a vegetarian, but he ate an enormous amount of fruit.
Uh-huh.
And you can't do that. Fruit is good. It's an excellent food, but you have to eat it in moderation. And then do not consume fruit juices. Fruit juices are toxic because the sugar is too highly biologically available. So that gives you a big spike in the sugar in your blood. If you eat a piece of fruit, the sugar is absorbed more slowly. But if you have fruit juice, the sugar is absorbed very quickly. So fruit is good, fruit juice is not. But, what makes a healthy diet? Fresh, unprocessed foods. And people have eaten quite a variety of different kinds of fresh, unprocessed foods. Mm-hmm. And they've done well on it.
What are your thoughts about the blood sugar? A lot of people say, 85 in the fasting blood sugar in the morning. What are your thoughts about blood sugar?
Well, the thing is that the body knows how to manage blood sugar. We're the ones that screw it up. And we screw it up primarily with our bad diets because you need certain vitamins and minerals to manage your blood sugar properly. So if you don't have those vitamins and minerals in your diet, you will not manage your blood sugar properly. And then if you eat highly biologically available sugar, such as any refined sugar or fruit juice, you will increase the amount of sugar in the blood, and that's not good because the sugar in the blood has to be kept within normal limits. Mm-hmm. And when you eat a lot of it, that exceeds the normal limits. Eat a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and you'll double the amount of sugar in the blood. I mean, it shoots up like skyrockets. Mm-hmm. So you can't do that. And yet you see people, putting 2 or 3 teaspoons of sugar in their coffee or something, and then eating some pie or cake with it or something. Yeah. It's crazy. You can't do that.
We have a question.
We do because we grew up with it. I grew up with sugar. I mean, my mother made some of the best chocolate chip cookies in the world, and we always had cookies and cake and pies and ice cream and candy. The house was always full of this stuff. We grew up with it. We thought it was normal. I thought it was normal. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize I was eating poison.
Right.
And but now that I know better, I mean, I do I eat sugar? Yeah, I do. I probably eat a pound of sugar per year, and mostly that happens at somebody's birthday or a special holiday. But the average person eats 160 pounds of sugar. You can't do that. It's going to devastate you. And you got to get off of the sugar. It's a number one. And, I'll go into a city and I'll lecture and I'll say, don't eat sugar, don't drink milk, and don't eat wheat. And 6 months later, the phone calls start pouring in, and people saying, "Oh, you came to Cincinnati and you said don't do," and all my problems have got, my arthritis has gone away, my asthma has gone away, my skin problems have gone away, and just very, very simple advice, and all of a sudden their body is working better.
That's fascinating. We have a question in our chat room about what is it, Kate? It's kidney stones. Kidney stones, yeah. How would you go about treating kidney stones?
Well, don't create them. Again, eating sugar helps to create kidney stones.
Is kidney stones part of a calcium overload too?
No, not really. The body can handle it. Not too many people have calcium overload. It's a disturbance in your calcium metabolism. In other words, a disturbance in the way the body properly handles the calcium.
I see.
And again, we screw that up with, there's only two causes of all disease, deficiency and toxicity. And when you screw up that mechanism, you can get kidney stones. It's the same thing with overweight. I mean, overweight is a disease. It's a disease caused by deficiency and toxicity, because there's a part of your brain that's like a thermostat. It's like we manage our sugar, we manage the fat, we manage everything in the body. Mm-hmm. So there's a mechanism in the brain that says this is how much fat we need. And if you have too much fat, it sends a message that says burn some fat. And if you don't have enough fat, it sends a message that says store some fat. So this little thermostat turns on and off, burn fat, store fat, burn fat, store fat. Mm-hmm. And that keeps the amount of fat in your body constant. Well, when you screw up that switch, it can get jammed in the store fat position, and you will store fat. I've had people come to me, 200 pounds overweight, and they say, I eat like a bird, and I keep getting, the storage switch is in the on position, and even if they eat like a bird, they're going to store fat.
Wow.
You have to fix that switch. And again, it's deficiency and toxicity. A deficiency of calcium can jam that switch on. You can have a toxicity from aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener, that can jam the switch, and you will gain weight. Mm-hmm. So people drink diet sodas to lose weight, and what they're really doing is making themselves gain weight because the aspartame screws up the switch. Mm-hmm. The body is a self-regulating, self-repairing mechanism. That's what you have to understand. The body is self-regulating, self-repairing. If it isn't working right, it's because you are screwing that up. Mm-hmm. And but again, see, we didn't come with an operating manual when we were born, and yet nobody has ever told us how to keep everything functioning smoothly. Yeah, but true. Once you learn that, and look at me, I mean, I'm getting younger. I'm actually getting younger every year, and I feel fabulous. I have boundless energy. I'm as sharp as a tack. My mind is sharp. I bounce out of bed in the morning like a piece of toast. I mean, I go through the day. I never feel tired. When you feel this good, the very thought of eating something like sugar, people say, oh, don't you miss sugar? Well, maybe I do miss sugar, but I'll tell you something, I would miss feeling this good a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. Nothing tastes as good as feeling healthy feels. Mm-hmm. So that's the way to go. Reduce your biological age, and anybody can do this. Shift the body back into the repair mode, and then whatever is wrong goes away. We all have cancer cells. If you're over age 50 in America, you have cancer. Almost 100% of the people over age 50 have cancer. Riddled. Your body is riddled with cancer. You've got little microclusters of cancer cells everywhere. Here's the question. Will those cells grow or not? Mm-hmm. At my age, almost 78, I must be riddled with cancer. The question is, are those cancer cells going to grow or not? Mm-hmm. You have control over whether they grow or not. So, almost half the American population is going to get cancer in their lifetime now. I mean, this is an out-of-control epidemic. Mm-hmm. That's why I wrote my book, Never Fear Cancer Again, because almost half the population is going to get cancer in their lifetime. And you don't want to do that because you have control over it. We know what cancer is. We know what causes cancer. We know how to prevent it. We know how to cure it. We have to teach people this stuff. So I wrote a whole book on it, Never Fear Cancer Again. And by the way, on my website, beyondhealth.com, people can go there, and right on the front page, you can sign up for a free newsletter. And you can get really high-quality information on a regular basis, free of charge, just to go to beyondhealth.com and sign up for the free newsletter.
I love that. Yeah, right there, free health resource. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great stuff. And so it's pretty encouraging also to see that you started this at 48 and look at what you've been able to basically accomplish in 30 years. A lot of people think they have to start at 20 or, way younger, but this is, a lot of really encouraging information.
Well, we have people, I've got people in their 80s who are turning their health around and reducing their biological age. So you can start at any age, because the body is a self-repairing system. And once you shift it back into repair mode, you start repairing all that old stuff. So you start becoming biologically younger. At age 48, I was inches from death. I was so far gone. I normally weighed 160 pounds. I went down to 120 pounds. I looked like something out of Auschwitz. I was a skeleton with skin draped on it. I could not move. I remember distinctly one morning I woke up and my head was sort of in a funny position and my neck was hurting me. So what do? Well, obviously you should move your head. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, head, move. It wouldn't. I could not move my head. I could not move. That's how far gone I was. I couldn't move. And now I function like somebody in their early 20s, and I'm in my late 70s.
Wow.
Anybody can do this.
What condition did you have at that time, if you don't mind saying?
Well, long story.
Yeah.
But basically, I had been poisoned by a prescription drug, and the prescription drug poisoned my liver, and my liver died. And so I was dying of liver failure.
Oh, my goodness. At 48.
Yeah, and I had to, at the last minute, I don't even know how I did it. I think God was helping me. Uh-huh. At the last minute, I used my own knowledge of biochemistry, and I saved my life.
Wow, isn't that a story? That's amazing. So, geez, wow, that's just so encouraging for all of us. A lot of people don't have that much of a drastic.
Doctors don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
See, human health is all about human biochemistry. If all your biochemistry is functioning normally and smoothly, you will be healthy, you will be self-repairing, you will be self-regulating. Mm-hmm. Our doctors know almost nothing about biochemistry. So the result is they don't know how to help you. And so what they do is they take, if you have a symptom, whether that symptom be cancer or diabetes or arthritis or whatever, what they do is they give you a very highly toxic chemical that poisons one part of the body in order to suppress a symptom. And so let's say you have high blood pressure. We can give you a toxic chemical that will poison your kidneys and lower your blood pressure. And so you say, hey, victory, hallelujah, my blood pressure is down. Yeah, it's down, but what is the cost? You're being poisoned. Mm-hmm. And by the time you're on 3 prescription drugs, there isn't anyone on this planet who knows what's going on in your body. Your body is in biochemical chaos. Right. So it's crazy to take a prescription drug. These are poisons. They poison you. They don't do you any good. They don't solve your problem. They don't restore you to health. They keep you sick. They make you sicker. In fact, properly prescribed prescription drugs are the 3rd leading cause of death in America. So we could eliminate the 3rd leading cause of death with the stroke of a pen by outlawing prescription drugs.
Right, and they're even taken correctly, too, but they still kill people.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They still kill you, and they kill far more people officially. The official numbers are round numbers. That prescription drugs cause about 110,000 deaths per year. Now, divide 365 into 110,000, and you see how many people are dying every day from prescription drugs. But here's the truth. That's what actually gets reported. Now, if we do studies, we go into very, very good institutions. Teaching institutions, Massachusetts General Hospital, a very good teaching institution. Hospitals of that ilk, only 1 in 4 adverse reports adverse incidence gets reported. Only 1 in 4. Then you go down into lesser institutions, and it gets as bad as only 1 in 20 adverse incidence gets reported. So at the very, very least, if we say 110,000 people are dying, at the very least, that real number is 440,000, because at very best, only 1 in 4 gets reported. So it's 4 times as much. And so prescription drugs, with certainty, kill at least 500,000 people a year. And people don't know this. They don't. They think they're dying from their disease. No, they're not. I had a very famous movie star came to me once, and his mother was falling apart. She was falling down. She was injuring herself. Her memory was gone. She couldn't remember anything. She didn't have any energy. She couldn't get out of bed. She was a mess. And he said, "What can you do to help my mother?" I said, "Well, you got to get her on a better diet, and you got to get her on a good supplement program, so put her on some of my vitamins." Mm-hmm. So we did that, and I said, "Well, is she on any prescription drugs?" And she said, "Yes, she's on 9 drugs."
Oh, my God.
So you got to get her off of all of those drugs. Well, at first, she refused. "My doctor told me to take these drugs." Mm-hmm. At long last, she finally relented, and we worked with the doctor. We got her off of all 9 drugs, and she is now much older and much younger and healthier and is just fabulous. She worships me. She thinks I'm a god because I gave her back her life. I didn't do anything. All I did was tell her to stop trying to kill herself with the drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So this star got married again a couple of years ago, and I went to his wedding in Beverly Hills, and I danced with his mother that evening, and she was so thrilled to be with me and to dance with me, but here she is, demonstrably younger than she used to be, and much healthier and off of all of her drugs.
That is just so great. Golly, I love hearing stories like that. So great what you can do if you just follow your intuition and look and do some research and study. I want to thank you, Raymond, for being on the show today. I really appreciate this. We didn't even talk about telomeres and aging and all that kind of stuff, but we did some good. I think we shared some great information, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. And as I say, go to beyondhealth.com. There's a wealth of information there, and you can sign up for a free newsletter. But get a copy of Never Feel Old Again. And everybody, even our teenagers, need to read Never Feel Old Again because they're old.
I know, right? They're biologically way older. They need that too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Onward and upward.
I love it. So on your site, you have all kinds of different supplements as well as other products like saunas and books and things like that. So that's awesome.
All very high quality, all things that I've personally designed or personally approved, things that I use myself. So it's all good stuff.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for spending some time out of your day, and I appreciate it so much. Kate and I are just so happy, so thank you.
Sorry I couldn't be a part of it.
All right, thank you. God bless you and all your listeners.
Okay, thanks, Raymond. All right, I want to thank everybody for being on the live show. That was just a lot of fun with Raymond Francis, wasn't it?
I'm like a little mouse.
Can you... Let's see. Let's do a little mic check here.
I'm going to scream. I'm like a little mouse.
Can anyone... So, according to this, you're on... It's recording your voice.
Interesting.
But I think we're having some problems. Maybe people in the chat room can...
they'll let me know.
Can let you know. Yeah. Wow. That was an interesting show, wasn't it?
Very.
Mr. Raymond Francis.
I'll let you close it out.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Just in case, I don't know if people can hear me or not, but it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. I just want to thank all you guys for being on the live show. We really appreciate that so much. It's just an honor to be here with you. And I apologize for the connection with Raymond. We had a little bit of a snafu with our connection with him, there being a delay, and then Kate's microphone. But we just got our studio redone, and now we're paying the price here. So we're having some problems here. But I appreciate you guys being on. It's just so much fun when you guys are in the chat room. And this was episode 282. And if you guys would like to check out his website, it's beyondhealth.com and check it out. Sign up for his newsletter list. You can stay up to date with all his stuff. He's got all kinds of cool stuff on there. really great information. So thank you so much.
I'm coming over here.
Oh, you're coming over here.
I felt like it was super encouraging to hear Jenny talk about her husband and his journey, and just to see that these tools we're equipping ourselves with like really work for people, you know?
Oh, I know. I think it's awesome. I just can't believe that she actually took the advice from the book, and her husband did that and had such great results.
It just takes so much, it just takes a lot of gumption, a lot of risk to actually pull that trigger. And then when you see those things in your own life, you get encouraged from so many other people, I think, who are seeing it in their lives. And then when you see it in your own, it's just unreal. And I've seen things lately where I just feel like, wow, I have all the tools at my disposal, and when we actually implement them right, it's just insane to see the kind of turnaround we can have in our lives. So I'm so grateful for Jenny and the progress with her and her husband, Mike, I believe, and for all that Raymond Francis has to offer. It's just amazing.
I know, super cool, huh? It's just so cool. So I want to thank all you guys for being on the show, and we appreciate it so much. This is episode 282. If you know anyone who would be interested in this show, please share it with your friends. We'd appreciate that so much. I feel like he shared a lot of great information on that show, and so if you know anyone with cancer or who's aging and wants to get some anti-aging tips, I would love to check out his book, actually, Never Feel Old Again. So check that out. We'll put links to all of his books and all that on our website here, episode 282, if you're interested in that, and you can go on there. We'll also put a link to the forum, which we'll create, and you can join the community in the forum and talk about this show. And you can find all of that on extremehealthradio.com/282. And it's time for us to go. We're going to sign off here. We appreciate all you guys being on. And
love you guys.
It's time to go make a smoothie or have some breakfast here, isn't it?
Let's do it. I'm starving.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
That's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any